students. This week we're going to talk about war, conflict, and terrorism. That is the chapter that we're focused on. You've got your reading assignment. It's just a few pages in that chapter that we're going to look at. And those pages cover the basic definitions of these kinds of things as we have looked at them in the past. You'll see things like not only war and conflict, but the Cold War and what that was or potentially is. You'll look at things like weapons sales. There's a survey, kind of a questionnaire like you find so many times in our chapters in our social problems textbook, that it asks you some questions. It's a multiple choice questionnaire that gives you the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, and Coast Guard as different choices in the multiple choice options. But for instance, one problem with our textbook is that several years ago, another armed force agency was established in the USA, the Space Force. And so perhaps that's something that you could consider when you're looking over those questions that are proposed in that one little activity that is published in our textbook. You can maybe, if you need an outside source for a reaction paper, look at the purpose behind why the Space Force was instigated, because there's not much in the whole chapter, let alone the section that I've asked you to read for this week. There's not much about the turn to that kind of warfare, cyber warfare, control of satellites, and this kind of communication pathways. We've seen in our history in the last few years since the COVID lockdowns, we've seen, of course, conflicts arise between Russia and the Ukraine, and we've seen the SWIFT banking system used as a sanction to try to deter that conflict from moving forward. Right now, as I record this video, there is a conflict between Israel and Hamas, and this is an ongoing one that just didn't start in this past October. It's something that's been going on since the state of Israel was formed as a geopolitical body. Many times politics or geopolitics, meaning where are the borders of nations, a lot of times these are the reasons why wars are fought or conflicts are started, but many times it's conflicting cultural backgrounds, religious wars, for instance, that bring different groups of people with very different belief systems to conflict, to the battlefield even, because of the differences among them. And so these are social problems that run very, very deeply into our society. And so there are a lot of aspects of war that is not considered in this chapter. Even just combining this concept with the science and technology chapter that we've had from before, looking at the way the cyborg future of the human race is possible because of all the scientific and technological advances. Some people in the realm of war and conflict are proposing that some of these brain alterations, especially, you watched a video that talked a little bit about deep brain stimulation devices and how they can be used for anorexia nervosa, for instance, was the example in the video that you watched. But also there are those who say, can we use these deep brain stimulation devices to perhaps modify the feelings that people have about death, about killing someone in general, about remorse, about hesitation? Can we perhaps create a super warrior, so to speak? It sounds like a sci-fi movie, I know. It sounds like a dystopian universe or something with Thanos at the head of it or something. But this is part of what might be on the horizon with some of the solutions to social problems surrounding war, conflict, terrorism, and that kind of thing. So, please, as you're reading this and as you're watching the curated video that goes along with this content, think about what's missing. That's really the activity that I want you to do, and the analytical kind of thought process that I want you to challenge yourself to do this week when you're reading the pages that are included. What's missing? More than just the fact that we have another agency of the military, the Space Force, like I mentioned, but what's missing in the overall picture of these issues in this globalized world of ours, the international banking system, the international trade system, all the different kinds of connections that we have from one place in the world to the next, whether it's a cyber connection or a literal border that we share with another nation or group. Within our own nation, for instance, and how these conflicts arise. I'll be interested to read your reaction papers this week. If you need an outside source, doing some research on that Space Force thing is a great idea, or maybe even the future of war and conflict, as some people propose that it will be changing in the near future, maybe even your lifetime. So I look forward to reading those papers and seeing your quizzes from this week, and please text me with questions. Watch the next video in the folder, please, before you do those RPs and quizzes. See you next time.